Hi everyone, welcome back to the last in our Little House series. This book is called These Happy Golden Years. It is the 8th one in the series and the 5th to get the Newbery Honor distinction. This book was published in 1943 and it lost the Newbery to Johnny Tremain, which I did like. There is one more book in the series called The First 4 Years. It was published many years after the author's death and published as written in draft format without editing, so I'm not going to read it. There's debate online as to whether or not the author even wanted it published. This particular book has fewer pages than some of the others in the series, but it also seems to have a smaller font size. And the illustrator is back with another set of fantastic drawings to go along with the story. Our story begins with Pa driving Laura 12 miles to Brewster Settlement for her teaching job. It is too far for regular travel, so she will not see him again for the duration of her job, which is 2 months. Laura's goodbye to Ma and her sisters happens off-page, and I wish we could have seen that. She's staying with the Brewster family. Mrs. Brewster is angry and resentful of getting married, which caused her to lose her own teaching job. She seems to mostly ignore her toddler son, and it sounds incredibly stressful. Laura studies her textbooks just to pass the time. On her first day, she has 5 students who arrive to the school before her. That's not great. I always arrive first to make sure I'm the adult in the room, and I always meet the children at the door. That night, Laura hears Mrs. Brewster complaining about her living there. She waits until Laura is in bed, but she means for it to be heard. Poor Laura. She dreams that Pa will surprise her and take her home for the weekend. Friday is snowy, however, and she knows that he won't be able to come. But at the end of the school day, she hears 2 horses and recognizes them as Almanzo's pair. She quickly dismisses the students a few minutes early. She enjoys the weekend with her family, then returns on Sunday with Almanzo. He does this every single week of the assignment. One week, she asks why he comes to get her. He says it's because he gets bored with only his brother for company. The teaching position ends, and Laura happily returns home. The next day, Almanzo takes her for a sleigh ride. Laura returns to her home school and is happy to be a student again. She is paid for her work, and Mr. Brewster asks if she'll come back next year. Pa says it's too far to be from home in the winter. Good answer, Pa. Laura promptly gives him the money and then secures another job helping a dressmaker on Saturdays. Another job arises when she is asked to live in the summer house with a nice woman and her daughter. The woman is scared to be alone, but the husband needs to work in town and the land has to be occupied. Mary comes home for the summer. The town Christmas tree is set up. Laura is surprised to find a present with her name on it. It is a black leather box containing a fancy hairbrush and comb. Dad lets it slip that Almanzo bought the box in town. He does not return to the story anytime soon. Laura gets another teaching job. She and Dad will use the money to buy an organ for Mary to play when she's home. Almanzo comes back, and they go for a ride in his spring buggy. He hasn't come by because he was getting it ready. They attend a Friday singing school. One night, Almanzo asks Laura if she would like an engagement ring. He offers her one on their next ride, which she accepts, then says he can kiss her good night. Ooh la la. Pa says Manzo had discussed it with him previously. Ma says it seems that Laura is more interested in the horses than in Almanzo. She says she couldn't have one without the other. We knew the story was going to end this way, but I feel bad that her teaching career ends after 5 months of work. It was Mary's dream, not Laura's, but Laura did well with it, and she seemed to enjoy both the work and the accomplishment of earning her own money. Manzo and his brother spend the winter in Minneapolis with their family. Ma and Pa decide to stay in the summer house and rent out the townhouse. Pa agrees to drive the girls to school all winter. Eventually, Almanzo returns, and he and Laura get married. She is sad to leave her parents and sisters, but also happy to start a new life with him. The end. This book was fantastic. As Laura got older, her problems got bigger, but so did her ability to handle them. Like the previous book, I very much liked that this was predominantly set in the town. Her interactions with other people were significantly more interesting than reading about farm chores. I waited a very long time to read this series for whatever reason, and I can very much see why it is such a beloved series. Yes, some parts are outdated and troublesome. For example, Laura says she does not believe in the women's movement, and she has no desire to vote. But at the same time, she insists the marriage vows exclude the word obey. The stories she told were both much simpler and also much more stressful than life today. The emphasis was always on family togetherness and the girls learning independence and integrity. They are timeless stories and a welcome addition to the Newbery Library. If you have not read them, I absolutely recommend checking out the Little House series. They can be read sequentially, or they could be read individually. I think each one stands perfectly well as an individual book. I think the writing got better as the stories progressed, which certainly would reflect that Laura was getting older and she would be better able to narrate her life when she was 15 as opposed to when she was 5. So definitely check out any or all of the Little House series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Thanks for watching. Bye.